Higher income as a girlfriend, 31, F, with boyfriend, 28, M, who has inheritance money for his own apartment. My boyfriend and I have been together for nearly 3 years, living together for 1.5. About 10 months ago, I landed a new job that had a significantly higher salary than my previous one, and I make around 3 times as much as my boyfriend. Before this, I was out of work for a while, 4 months, as we moved to another country and has significant setup costs upon arrival and have had some small debt to pay back. Since getting the job, I feel like I've been very generous with the new disposable income I have. Cover most meals, I would say 70%, groceries and vacation costs. We split rent and utilities 50-50. Recently, I've noticed my boyfriend become more expectant that I should be paying for things due to my higher income. I think this would be okay for me, but the clincher is that he has recently been on the hunt to invest in his first apartment with his parents paying for a significant down payment. He has also been quite lazy in looking for a better paying job. He complains about the poor salary but never proactively looks for work. I'm not a homeowner but hope to be one day, and I'm starting to feel resentful towards this dynamic and his expectations. When I bring this point up to him, he makes the comment that the money is not his own, for the down payment, which I find ridiculous as the property will be in his name. He is more referring to the fact that he has less cash flow than I do currently. I come from a family that didn't have much money growing up, and a mother that was always worried about it. I'm very conscious of not becoming like my mother, but also feel like this new dynamic is unfair and limits my ability to hit personal finance goals. Am I being unreasonable, or is he too long didn't read? Girlfriend feeling strain in the relationship with boyfriend due to unbalanced financial split. This isn't a fun, sexy answer, but I'd suggest you stop paying for him. It won't be comfortable, but he's making an investment in his future and you need to do the same for yourself. Every time you pay extra to cover him, that's money you could have been investing or saving to meet your own financial goals. It doesn't sound like he particularly notices or appreciates the extra money you're spending right now, so I definitely prefer to keep things 50-50 and treat him on special occasions rather than as a matter of course. Plus, if the worst comes to the worst, at least you won't be stuck feeling like you've wasted however many years subsidizing his lifestyle only to be left with nothing while he builds equity in his apartment. Kind of agree with this. There's something a bit icky to me about letting/expecting his GF to cover his expenses while being happy to make a personal investment in his future, whilst being unwilling to make a joint investment for a shared future. From what I've seen, some couples split expenses 50-50 before marriage and some split expenses proportional to income depending on what they are comfortable with. If you want to keep things 50-50, you're going to have to live a lifestyle suited to his lower income though. My wife and I do the income based. I make 70% of the income, so I pay 70% of the bills, not counting student loans, individual credit cards. We come from more traditional families where one person is head of household and bills, but we like having our own money for our own things. We're still married and far from ever letting the other go without, but it has worked so far. Joint accounts just seem like a mess at this point. I wonder if it's an underlying difference in your attitude towards money. For you have had to earn it and grew up without financial security, making it a big deal. It sounds like he has grown up very financially secure and thus not placing as much emphasis on where it comes from or the importance of earning money, other than as an indicator of status. He wants a higher salary but can't be bothered to get a better job. This means when he takes money from you he doesn't recognize its value in the same way you do, which is causing the resentment on your part. Most relationships are transactional in that people don't mind giving, but they do want that giving to be understood in a way that means it's not taken for granted. You don't mind buying dinner, but you're entitled to have him acknowledge and appreciate it. For him, money has always been there, and why is it such a big deal? For you, that money is hard-earned and part of your future financial security, and you are sharing it in a way that he is not acknowledging. It may be worth taking some time to reflect on how you can explain this to him. It's a tricky one because it needs him to listen in good faith and properly try and empathize with your position, and it doesn't sound like he's necessarily in that sort of place at the moment. Every dollar you spend is a decision that takes you in a direction. If you don't like the direction, change the decision. You covering most of the expenses in the relationship is okay, if you are okay with that. From your whole post, what leaps out is two things. 1. It is his apartment, not his and yours. Doesn't sound like you are in his projected future. Avoiding financial plans in general is a bad sign. It could mean that he either doesn't really think you two will stay together for long, or he plans on staying with you for long but is not willing to share. Both are very bad options. 2. He likes more expensive stuff but is not willing to get a job that pays for that expensive stuff. 0 financial responsibility. Considering what you say about yourself, I think you are in for some disappointment. Sorry, skeptical. Since you are writing this post, you're not interested in dumping him yet, but are looking for a solution to the situation. Say invest in yourself. If you are worried that the money you are investing in the relationship isn't being used properly, reroute the money to where will be. Find something to invest in yourself that will be only yours. If you stay together, you'll have a good investment and won't feel bad. If you split up, you'll have a good investment and won't feel bad. Backup is good. My 24F boyfriend, 26M, has a long-time female friend who's clearly into him and I don't know what I should do. This is gonna sound like typical insecure girlfriend, but I promise it's not like that. My boyfriend and I have been together for over 6 months and he's really great. He has a friend that he's had for years who is a girl. Normally, I'm not the type to be all like you're not allowed to hang out with a single girl alone. But I'm considering telling my boyfriend that he's not allowed to hang out with this girl alone. This girl is obviously so into him and she wants me to know she's coming for him. She keeps saying stuff like, you don't know him like I do yet. We used to go to that place together all the time long before you guys started dating. Oh my god, Josh, remember when we went on a hike, just the two of us? That was the best day. She also had cute pet names for him, but I didn't like that, so as soon as I heard it I told my boyfriend I didn't like it and he made her stop. I asked her straight up if she's into him and her response pissed me off so much. She was like, I know it's intimidating how close he and I are, but don't worry, you're the girlfriend, I'm just a friend, right? With a smug smile on her face. I got so mad but I couldn't talk to my boyfriend about it. I want to tell him to cut her out of his life so bad, but I don't know if I can do that. My boyfriend's dad passed away 2 years ago with a heart condition. He told me that his dad was his best friend growing up, so it hit him really hard. He was the only family my boyfriend had. Apparently, this girl really helped him get through it. She apparently was there for him throughout the whole thing. That's why he says she's like a sister to him. That's why I don't know what to do. I already asked him to set some boundaries, like she can't text late at night or come over to his place unannounced all the time and no interrupting our alone time. My boyfriend doesn't realize that she's into him and I kinda don't blame him on that one, because all of her flirts are subtle enough that he doesn't realize, but enough to get me riled up. I know my boyfriend isn't into her at all and he's completely friend-zoned her, but it's still so frustrating. I hate to admit it, but she's so good at getting under my skin and I don't know what to do. I really need some advice. Thanks Reddit. Edit. Thanks to everyone for the advice. I've decided that I will tell my boyfriend everything she's done so far and see how he handles it. TBH, I was hoping I'd avoid telling my boyfriend about it, but she left me no choice. In the meantime, I don't know how I'll bring it up to my boyfriend, but I'll figure it out. Too long didn't read. My boyfriend's longtime female friend is clearly into him and she's letting me know in a subtle passive-aggressive way. I need advice on how best to handle this. Maybe you could have a talk with him about how she's acting and tell him that you don't want to break up their friendship, but that you would feel really loved if he would make it extra clear that he prefers you. Maybe also explain that you don't like to be alone with her because she seems to want you to feel weird, and ask for his help with that. However, I recommend that you don't dictate exactly how he acts, but rather bring it up and then sit back for a few weeks and see how he handles it. Give him time to observe the situation with new eyes. I think treating him with trust will be better for your relationship, since he hasn't done anything to make you question his loyalty. My boyfriend has a female friend he's known way longer than he's known me, and he also says he considers her a sister. The big difference though is that she doesn't call him pet names, bring up how much more she knows about him, and doesn't try to undermine our relationship. Boys can be clueless sometimes, and it seems like you need to trust your gut here. Don't look at it as I'm not allowing you to talk to her, just tell him your feelings and how you don't think she respects your relationship, and let him decide how to proceed. If he changes nothing and lets her keep doing stuff like that, then that's very telling. I specifically want to address this absolute third tier, worthless advice I keep seeing in the comments. If she's at a social event, just don't go! Exclamation mark. No. WTF is that? You shouldn't be forced into feeling so uncomfortable to the point where your contact with your boyfriend and his normal behaving friends is limited because she's an a-hole. Everyone who honestly puts their whole heart into a relationship deserves, at the minimum, to go out in public with their SO and not feel lowly and bad about themselves over it. Exclamation mark. Seriously, people in the comments saying this, get your self-esteem up. You have got to tell him everything she's done. As awkward as it feels saying it, you need to just spit it out. You're going to come off as the bad guy if you keep pushing the boundaries without the explanation. The stress this has to be causing when you see this be, and the weight it must have on your chest, you're going to feel so relieved to just say it, at least. My wife had one of those when we started dating. It was so brutally obvious this dude was trying to bed her. Every single time she'd post on social media, he'd be the absolute first to reply. He stalked her from every angle almost constantly. I had a chat with her about it. I pointed out the behavior. Honestly, if we are a couple, our friends should include both of us. If they don't, something is up. Honestly, I wouldn't want to hang out with anyone myself that wouldn't include her. It came to a head. She had to ask him to back the fuck off. She set clear boundaries with him and he vanished. We're married, and have been together for going on 16 years. That's the type of person you want. You want someone in your life that will set those boundaries. If they don't, they'll probably end up cheating on you, or in general they aren't the type of person you want to settle down with. He might just be clueless. Bring it up to him, especially her smug response. Don't ask him to cut her off because he'll get defensive, but ask him to draw some boundaries with her. My girlfriend won't accept my reasons for breaking up. My GF, 26F, and I, 26 meters, been dating for 2 years. We loved each other a lot and got used to one another. However, few months ago I realized that I don't see a future with her. We have a lot of differences and goals. For example, I want kids but she never want to have. I want us to live together but she refuses to move in. Our sex is not joinable at all. She rarely wants to have sex, etc. There are other reasons, but whenever I talk about ending things for good, she keeps crying and keep pushing me to stay and promise that things will be different and get better, but they never do. I tried to break up with her like 10 times already and never succeeded. What can I do? I do love her and get weak when she cries, but I don't see a future with her at all. Too long didn't read. I talked with her and the same thing, she loves me and we should stay together. I feel trapped. At this point, after 10 tries, she probably doesn't think of it as a breakup so much as a warning conversation. If you really do want to break up, untangle any entanglements you have with her first, then say you're sorry for seeming indecisive but you are sure you want to break up. You can have a full-on conversation with her after that if you want, but your alternative is to just stop answering the phone / the door / etc. and just be firm.